seen kids dying on the streets, and I just believe that if kids get what they need in school, a great education, that they can go off and be successful. I done seen it happen. Kids deserve a high-quality education. They deserve to walk in a building where people care about them and teaching them and pushing them to their full potential and loving them.
You can't fight against the system alone. You have to create a system. And that's what the movement is about, putting our boots to the ground and getting to where we need to get to and saying exactly what we need to say, no holds barred.
Welcome everyone to session 1 of the Public Advocate Fellowship.
Sometimes you gotta disrupt systems to make things work for your children. We believe that parents should advocate, fight, get angry, and change the way the system looks.
We've been failed all our life. The school system failing us, people fail us all the time. I feel like the Memphis will give you good information. I didn't even know schools got grades. I didn't know teachers had scores. I didn't know none of that. I'm mad that we have to fight so hard for our kids to get the best. Like, why the inner city have to fight so hard?
We used the Harriet Tubman quote that I freed 1,000 slaves, and I could have freed 1,000 more if they only knew they were slaves. I do tell parents this, that, man, your mind enslavement, you gotta change your mindset. Your child can learn. You don't know the power that you have. You telling me you don't have the power. You got the babies. So that means you got the power, and you got to do what it takes to take care of your children and make sure that they get what they need in life. I believe that every parent wants their kid to do better than they did.
A lot of people are seeing what's going on, and the thing is, you might not know how to deal with it. So that's the good thing about forming this system and forming this movement, because we put parents at the table. You know, we go back and forth to school board meetings. If you have an issue, we go back and forth to the county commissioner. That's who delegates the money all throughout the city, you know, and also to our state representative office, so you can sit and talk face to face with your own state representative.
We don't work for charter schools.
No!
We don't work for district schools.
No!
We work for parents, and we work for children.
Yes!
We're starting a movement to demand better.
I'm a parent. I'm going through the same thing you're going through, so let's go through it together.
This is my passion. I fight for my children. I fight for your children. I fight for a quality education.
I just believe when you unify and go in numbers, you get what you want. We gotta save our children.
Fire up!
Ready to go!
Fire up!
Ready to go!
Fire up!
Ready to go!
All right, Miss Douglas, I think they're fired up. So thank you, guys.
Good evening, everyone. We have a treat in store for you today. I want to welcome everyone again to the Memphis Lift Black History Honorees. Now, the Memphis Lift is so proud of all the parents who are working with us to build a movement that fights to disrupt the education system that has failed generations of our families. Every day now, Monday through Friday, we'll honor 2 parents that's making history right here in our very own community. Remember what I told you? We got a treat for you today. I present to you Miss Sarah Carpenter.
Hello, hello, hello. Frank Gottie have blinked off the camera, so I'm gonna go on to Terence Boyce. Terence, I'm so glad to have you and Henry and Frank. Some people are probably ask, why did she pick 3 guys? The reason I picked 3 guys because I don't think our Black men get the recognition that they need and deserve. So I want to lift Black men up because Black men is the backbone of the Black family. So I picked these 3 guys and I love them like they my own children also. So Anyway, I'm gonna go to Terence Boyce first since Henry then popped out. We have an internet issue. Terence, the first question I have for you, how have you and your family coped during the pandemic?
It's been very tricky. Most times just wash your hands, wear the mask, and really stay at home. But sometimes you want to get out and go to the store. You just gotta be careful. My family, it's been real tricky. My wife gotta go to work, and learning on the laptops has been difficult. But I'm so used to it now. Everywhere I go, I wear a mask.
Good for you. Good. That's good to hear a young Black man everywhere he go wearing his mask. So the next question, how have you and your children handled virtual learning?
At first it was difficult because, of course, my daughter wasn't used to it. She always saying it was boring. Then lunch break comes, she always want me to find her something to eat. So I'm used to the school, she being at school. But as she keep going, it kept getting greater and greater, especially during Christmas. She went up to the school and she never met a teacher in person, and it was a great experience. She loved it.
Wow, that's amazing. Nothing is like in-person learning to me. We know that in-person learning is the best way for our children to learn. But since we're in a pandemic, and I'm so glad that the district gave parents the choice to send their children back to school or, continue to do virtual learning. What made you become an active part of your child's education?
Well, personally for myself, I used to go to Bartlett Elementary, and I never forget when I went to Bartlett Elementary, it just taught me so much that I felt I was learning. And then they found out that my mother was using the wrong address, so I had to go to the schools in the hood. Wow. And when I went to the schools in the hood, it was horrible. I didn't learn nothing. Only thing we did was go outside and play football. And it was just so different. So I said, man, I got to teach my daughter at home and when she at school.
That's right. Thank you. That's amazing. That's amazing to hear your story. You saw the difference in a fluent neighborhood education and a not so affluent neighborhood education, right?
Oh, right. I experienced it.
Yeah, you experienced it firsthand, and that's good to hear from you, Terence. The next question, how and why did you become involved with the Memphis Lift? And what's your most memorable moment with the Memphis Lift?
Well, Sabrina, she taught me about the Memphis Lift. She inboxed me on Facebook and told me about it. And I went up there to the Memphis Lift, and it was the greatest experience, like on top in my list. Like I seen Miss Renee. Miss Renee used to be my school teacher.
Your daycare teacher, right? Your daycare teacher.
Younger, daycare. So it was like our family. Then I met Miss Sarah and her daughters and everybody. It was just great. Miss Terry. And my greatest part was going to school and graduating. I felt so it was the great experience because I was like, man, I'm back in school and I get to graduate. That was so, I loved it.
Yeah. What do you want to see for future generations in education?
Entrepreneurship, and I say that for the rest of my life because it's hard for a child to stay focused on schoolwork and school when they see their mama struggle with no money. How can I make a money? So I would think I want to see entrepreneurship because all these children want money.
Good question. Good answer. Good answer. I sound like I'm on a game show. Good answer, Terence. Good answer. Thank you, Terence Boyce. You don't have to leave. You can stay right here with us because you're among family. You got your daycare teacher at the top, Miss Renee. You got Henry, who you graduated from the fellowship with. And you got Frank Gottie, who you graduated with from our fellowship.
And we got the same birthday, Miss Sarah.
And they got the same birthday. So that you're among
let's get it.
So I'm going to Henry now. Frank, you got to come back on camera, sweetheart. Henry, how's you and your family coping during the pandemic?
Well, I got to give God the glory, Miss Sarah, because without God, ain't nothing possible. But I've been able to work. My wife been working. So we've been able to make it all right.
Cool, cool. How you and your children handling the virtual learning?
Virtual learning really been tough for us, Miss Sarah, because now they got the new module to where it's not even the same module that we used that we went to school, and I graduated in 2003, but it's different. And then with my wife working and me working and keeping the kids focused on school is kind of difficult, and your employee don't understand, and the school board don't understand. So it's like we the middle person, and we just gotta kind of suffer through and just take the sacrifices and bite the bullet on all the situations.
Yeah, and somewhere in the middle, the children sitting there waiting on grown folks to figure it out, right?
Right.
So what made you become an active part of your children's education? I think I know where you're gonna go, but go there anyway.
Well, like my niece goes to one of the, I'm gonna call it the privileged schools, because they get more school benefits and more education funds and all of this. But my child goes to school in the rural community, and it's not as many avenues available for those. So the whole time it's just like I understood, and I started to see the difference. So I decided to be a part of the solution instead of just constantly going with the same that's been going on since forever.
Good answer, Henry. Thank you for that. How did you become involved with the Memphis Lift? And what's your most memorable moment?
Well, Miss Ira, I seen you firsthand, and a lot of other people firsthand, just ground roots and just really pushing for really what was right, which is equality for education for all. And the thing about it was like it wasn't any choices in our neighborhood, or it wasn't many avenues for other people to just really vent outside. It was just the same basic education. So I wanted to be a part of the solution instead of just, like I said, constantly just going a part of the same way.
Thank you, Henry. One more question, and I'm gonna leave you alone, Henry. Move on to Frank, and you gotta come on the camera, Frank, my guy. What do you want to see for future generations in education, Henry? I know you're gonna nail this.
Well, I remember when I was coming to school. I graduated in 2003, and it was like more vocational programs, and it was like family assistance. Like I remember when like people was pregnant, like young kids was pregnant, and it was pregnancy programs. It just need to be a system put in place for people that's already starting families young, and like more economical avenues for our children instead of just the same old thing, accepting them for expecting failure and accepting.
Got it. Good answer, Henry. Okay, Henry and Terrence, y'all can stay right here with Frank, because I'm gonna bring on this other brother. You ready, Frank? Be careful, don't fall. Frank, you ready? You gotta unmute yourself, son. You gotta unmute yourself, Frank.
I'm ready.
Okay, Frank, the first question for you. How have you and your family cope during the pandemic?
Well, me. I'm they closed down all my businesses and stuff. So during the pandemic, so it was a hurting on everybody really, especially my kids. But we made it through it, through the grace of God.
Yeah. How are you and your children handling virtual learning? How are your kids dealing with virtual learning, and you as a parent, how y'all dealing with it?
That virtual learning stuff, that stuff a booger bear. It's a booger bear for me, Like I try to learn, like they got stuff on there like we didn't learn in school, And for them to want to, just, well, them folks that just want to just let the child teaching themselves. That's how I feel.
But the good thing about it, y'all, and we push for this ourselves as an organization, we want them to get a parents a choice to send their children back to school in person or stay on virtual learning. So that's in place now. So you'll get to make a choice. And we know that in-person learning is the best learning for our children. We all know that. But we also want to be safe when our kids go back to school, right? So, Frank, I'm going to let you know about that. So you got a choice to send your kids back to school or continue with virtual learning. How did you become an active part of your children's education, Frank?
What's the last part?
How did you become an active part of your child's education, children's education?
The Memphis Lil, you hear me? I wasn't even concerned, you know, like I was going to schools and going to the programs and stuff, but I wasn't just to like, you know, going sitting in the class and see what the school or what the teachers and stuff doing until I joined the Memphis Lil.
So that mean our fellowship worked for you, Frank, right?
Yes, man, it always works for me.
Good. We got your back, Frank. You know that.
You know, I got your back.
How did you become involved with the Memphis Lil, and what's your most memorable moment? What memory sticks out in your mind the most, and how did you become involved with the Memphis Lil?
My most memorable moment is when Dario was singing on the way back home. When he was singing,
you know what?
I always think about that. I'd be like, both of them, you know, may they rest in peace, and I'd be like, that's so crazy because, you know, both of them gone now, and Dario was singing to it. You know, we were having fun and stuff. That's my most memorable moment.
That was on the way from Atlanta, wasn't it?
Yes, man. We was in Atlanta when we went up to
the school board meeting
for the presidents.
Oh, yeah. So Frank Gottie got a friend who was murdered, and we all love Dario so much. And he was murdered a couple of months ago, right, Frank? And he was on the bus. He could really sing, y'all. He was playing, but he could really, really sing. He was singing my favorite too, the blues. So he loved to sing the blues, and I love the blues, and Renee, you do too. Yeah. And so he was singing to our deceased chief of operations, Miss Meadows. He was singing to Miss Meadows, and that was so funny. And Frank, thanks for reminding me, because that was so funny. And he was really playing and jiving, you know, but he was sounding exactly like the man that really sang the song. That was so ironic to me. So thanks for reminding us about that, Frank.
Yes, ma'am.
Now you got to go back to how did you get involved with the Memphis Lil?
I got involved through you, Mama Sarah. You know, you had reached out to me one day, and you were telling me about the program and told me I need to come and check out Memphis Lil, and I had finally came up there.
Yeah, how many times I had to reach out to you?
You reached out. You reached out to me a lot of times, but I finally came.
You did. You finally came, and you was very active. Yeah. And every time we called Frank to go out of town with us, he was right there, and he brought a friend with him. And Dario was one of those friends that he brought with him, and we so thankful to have met Dario, and may he rest in peace. So yeah. Frank, what do you want to see for future generations in education?
I just want to see our kids get the same treatment as every other child that's in these private schools and in these schools that got all these special, it's a lot of schools got a lot of special programs. Like, I just want to see our kids be able to learn just like other kids do, the kids in the suburbs.
And Frank, the thing that you know, I know, Renee know, Donna know, Henry know, Terence know, our kids are smart. All we want our kids to do is walk in a building, and people, when they first walk through those doors, people to let them know they smart and they can get. Our kids live up to whatever we expect out of them. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
So I just want to thank y'all. I always honor men, whatever program the Memphis Lil have. My thing is going to be reaching out to men. So Henry, Sanders, Frank, Gottie, Terence Boyce, thank y'all so much for joining us today. Renee?
Wow, this was great. This was great. And she meant what she said. She gonna reach out to the men. But the thing I found out by being with the Memphis Lift is our men gets us women so much respect when they are standing with us anywhere we go.
Yes.
People look at us totally different because of our Black men, beautiful Black men too.
Now, handsome Black men.
Okay.
You call them beautiful, they handsome.
They are beautiful.
And they smart.
Okay. Handsome. Okay. Now, I want to remind you all that every weeknight, Monday through Friday, we'll be right back in the same place at the same time with more great honorees. So please join us. Tomorrow night, we'll be back with 2 more guests to honor for the Black History honorees. Another thing, the Memphis Lift's mission. Our mission is to make the powerless parent powerful. Say it with me, Sarah. The Memphis Lift's mission.
Our mission is to make the powerless parent powerful. Henry, thank you for being a powerful parent. Frank, thank you for being a powerful parent. And Terence Boyce, thank all y'all for being powerful parents. And I look forward to working with you guys. I do. Thank you so much. Love y'all.
See you all tomorrow night.
Seeing kids dying on the streets, and I just believe that if kids get what they need in school, a great education, that they can go off and be successful. I've seen it happen. Kids deserve a high quality education. They deserve to walk in a building where people care about them and teaching them and pushing them to their full potential and loving them.
You can't fight against the system alone. You have to create a system. And that's what the movement is about, putting our boots to the ground and getting to where we need to get to and saying exactly what we need to say, no holds barred.
Welcome everyone to session 1 of the Public Advocate Fellowship.
Sometimes you gotta disrupt systems to make things work for your children. We believe that parents should advocate, fight, get angry, and change the way the system looks.
We've been failed all our life. The school system failing us, people fail us all the time. I feel like the Memphis Lift give you good information. I didn't even know schools got grades. I didn't know teachers had scores. I didn't know none of that. I'm mad that we have to fight so hard for our kids to get the best. Like, why the inner city have to fight so hard?
We used the Harriet Tubman quote that I freed 1,000 slaves, and I could have freed 1,000 more if they only knew they were slaves. I do tell parents this, that, man, your mind enslavement, you gotta change your mindset. Your child can learn. You don't know the power that you have. You telling me you don't have the power. You got the babies. So that means you got the power, and you gotta do what it takes to take care of your children and make sure that they get what they need in life. I believe that every parent wants their kid to do better than they did.
A lot of people are seeing what's going on, and the thing is, you might not know how to deal with it. So that's the good thing about forming this system and forming this movement, because we put parents at the table. You know, we go back and forth to school board meetings. If you have an issue, we go back and forth to the county commissioner. That's who delegates the money all throughout the city. You know, and also to our state representative office, so you can sit and talk face to face with your own state representative.
We don't work for charter schools.
No!
We don't work for district schools.
No!
We work for parents, and we work for children.
Yes!
We're starting a movement to demand better.
I'm a parent. I'm going through the same thing you're going through, so let's go through it together.
This is my passion. I fight for my children. I fight for your children. I fight for a quality education.
I just believe when you unify and go in numbers, you get what you want. We gotta save our children.
Fire up! Ready to go! Fire up! Ready to go! Fire up! Ready to go!
All right, Miss Douglas, I think they're fired up. So thank you guys.